to start off with AMC losing 300 million. It's been because of streaming, and they started getting worse during COVID. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to propose a solution. I'm a solution-oriented guy. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? So, same way Baskin and Robbins teamed up with Dunkin' Donuts. If I was CEO, I'd be trying to get on the phone with all the corporate for Dave and Buster's. And then you combine with Dave and Buster's, and I would even just dissolve Dave and Buster's locations. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would have to make an agreement like that. That way, out of Dave and Buster's you like to visit on game night or for your birthday or whatever, now it's gone, but it's at the AMC that they just renovated, and it's way bigger. You know what I'm saying? And and that way you have this whole experience that is way more than just going to a theater and concession stand and all of that. It heightens the experience. Or if they don't want to budge, right, then I would say barcade. You got a bar, you got vintage arcade games, all that. But to me, that's not enough. I think you need the Dave and Buster's approach, because Dave and Buster's has a little bit of everything. They got physical version of phone app games. They got that old school with the foosball and the air hockey, the basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell I don't play basketball. Like, what is this? What is that? I was a sponsored skateboarder, obviously, because what is that? Any business person could tell you it's really like high stakes betting and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Except it's more calculated risk. But even though it's a calculated risk, it's still a risk. And sometimes you got to spend more money to make more money. You know what I'm saying? It takes money to make money. So then if you losing money, then you might have to take a risk and spend a little bit of money you do have to up the shit and then make it back on the back end. Yeah, so that would make it more exciting. I think that, honestly, this is what I actually would do. See, I would take the business model of Dave and Buster's and create my own shit. It would be like Dave and Buster's combined with barcade, combined with a cafe. You have a food area, you got a cafe area, and I know people watching like, that's gonna be so expensive. Does he know where money grow on trees? You gotta spend money to make money. You gotta spend either that or just fucking you'll eventually end up being Toys R Us and fucking Bed Bath and Beyond. You know what I'm saying? And Blockbuster. You'll be in the same graveyard as them, right? While motherfuckers is walking around with VR watching the newest movie that they uploaded for fucking $30, right? So, y'all want to stay in business? Tune in to the channel, Reclues Vision, Zeph Solis. So you got a bar area for the adults. You got the arcade. You got all the games that are similar to Dave and Buster's for everybody else of all ages. Then you have a cafe area, and then you have like sort of a restaurant area, like how Dave and Buster's does. And then in the midst of that, you have obviously the movies. So that way, either before or after, it keeps you there longer. And the longer you keep people there, the more money they're going to spend. There you go. Boom. Hey, there you go. The popcorn buckets is not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, the popcorn buckets is not enough. Yeah, so we got the Michael Jackson trailer, right? Listen, man, I like the BET version. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? I forgot the actor's name. That he was in a bunch of movies when he was younger. He played Michael Jackson in Jackson 5. That was decent. The other ones, I didn't even bother to watch. Biopics are a tricky thing. M got lucky because he got to star his own biopic and have full control. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, honestly, as a music artist myself, soon as I spend like a good 5 years lit, I'm going straight to making a biopic. I'm not wasting time. They'd be like, bro, you still technically a new artist. I don't care. Like, you got to make a biopic while you're still alive. Because when you wait and you let them make it after you already passed on in the astral realm, that's when they fuck it up. Prince, smart. M, smart. 50, Windows Shaba. Smart. Michael Jackson, I mean, he was too busy. He had a lot of ups and downs. He had mental health issues. He had the propofol and all that stuff. So I get it. But so y'all gonna say, oh, well, then there's something you don't like about this trailer then if you're talking like that. But What it is the movie looks like it's gonna be badass. Obviously, the production value is there. I'm conflicted though about Jafar playing him because wasn't Jafar an Aladdin villain? That's besides the point. But I'm conflicted because on one side, as a huge Michael Jackson fan, and also a fan of how he kept it in the family, I'm so happy to see one of the Jackson Five's kids, sons, playing Mike for the movie. Like it's just a beautiful full circle movie. It's a positive version of nepotism because that exists. There is a positive side to nepotism. So that's a beautiful thing, and I think performance wise, it's gonna be great. Like his voice, the dancing, obviously, like you could tell he put in work, he put in pain to be able to dance like his Theo. But I don't think that he looks like Mike. He looks like an impersonator. I've seen impersonators that look more like Mike than he does. And I know a lot of people like, oh my God, look at he looks so much like him. Do you think all black people look the same? Because he doesn't look like him. Sorry, he doesn't. Especially, you know what's funny? I didn't know that was Jermaine's son, but when he had the prosthetic nose to look like when MJ was first going solo before he had any surgeries, he looks so much like Jermaine. Because I'm not from that generation, but I was so obsessed with Mike and the Jackson Five that I watched so much footage of them and music videos. So I know what they look like back in the day. And man, does he look like his pops. So it's like, that's who he looks like to me. He don't look like young Michael. He looks like Jermaine. The movie itself looked like it's going to be really good. It just looks like the casting might be a little bit of a distraction for some people, especially myself. So, we'll see. I'm definitely excited to watch it. The fact that the family is involved is good too, because anytime I think of biopics, 103,000 playing Jimi Hendrix haunts me. It haunts me. Not because he did a bad job. 103,000 is a good actor, and an even better music artist, obviously. But when I heard 103,000, he's playing Jimi Hendrix. Oh man, I was just like I'm sure a lot of people. I was excited. I was like, oh, that's great casting. Like, in terms of who he is as a music artist and who Jimmy was, like to see him channel that's gonna be amazing. And I thought it would have been better if they would have had better people behind the film. His acting was great, but it was just more emphasizing him being a woman beater. I'm like, God damn, this motherfucker worse than Rick James. I didn't know that, like same thing with John Lennon. I didn't know about that shit either till like way later on, and that's a whole nother subject about like how we separate the art from the artist and all of that. But if that was something that actually happened, which I'm guessing it was, I'm gonna do my research more after this. I haven't gotten around to it. I'm sure it had to be real if they put it in the movie, but it seemed like they emphasized mainly on that more than his artistic genius. Like, balance it out, man. Come on, you know what I'm saying? Balance it out, balance it out. This is not a Jeffrey Dahmer biopic. You know what I'm saying? Jimi Hendrix. What he did was bad, but balance it out. So now next, Avengers Doomsday. I wish I had my Doom shirt on. I have a Doom shirt. If you look at my social media, Zeph Solis social media, you'll see that I had a Doom shirt that I painted myself with acrylics and all that stuff. I do my own clothing, did this jacket, you know what I'm saying? You'll know more about that. But I wish I had my Doom shirt on. I had it on yesterday. But matter of fact, can I see the comic book? Yeah. I'm such a fan. I love Doctor Doom. That's one of my favorite villains. And look, I just got this today because like a dummy, I went to Forbidden Planet. An Absolute Batman annual came out, and I was showing my friend. I was like, "Yo, look at this!" Showing her the white supremacist cover and all that shit. And I was like, "Man," I was like, "You know what? I'll get it when I come back. I'll get it when I come back." We were getting groceries. We were running errands. I was like, "I'll get it when I come back." I had no idea. I didn't do my due diligence that was a highly demanded issue, and you know, I went today a fucking week and a week. I was super late. A week later, like it's actually gonna be there because I see so many other issues of the Absolute Comics that stuck around and was still available, gone. So I got that comic instead. One World Under Doom. I'm super excited. I'm gonna be doing this in several videos as we get closer and closer to getting more information on this movie. But I'll say this: if you remember when they first started filming, and there was like barely any like leaks of production photos, there was one of the first photos was of like a house that looked like the house that Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers was in. He redeemed himself and redeemed his timeline and was like ended up dancing with her, right? Marvel's back's against the wall, so they gotta go super crazy with it. So that he stands out as a villain, they're gonna make Doctor Doom ruthless. And how they're gonna start off with a bang, I'm predicting it. The opening scene is gonna be them in their house. It's either gonna be that when they were dancing, or it's gonna be just them like two old folks, making tea and toast or some shit. Beautiful, beautiful life. And you're gonna have a knock on the door, and it's gonna be Victor Von Doom, RDJ, and he's gonna go there and kill them ruthlessly. It's Avengers, so I gotta be PG-13, so I'm sure it's not gonna be too bloody, but it's gonna be a ruthless death. It's gonna be a ruthless murder, and that's gonna make people off the bat like, oh, we hate you. Oh, they're gonna hate him, So because everyone loves Cap, like so. That's my prediction for that. And as far as the trailer, yo, that means like a month away. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Yeah, I might go see Fire and Ash just to see the trailer. I'm sure a lot of people will, because I'm I don't know. Avatar's like it's like maybe I need to start doing shrooms again to watch that shit. Like it's good. I'm not gonna lie, it's gorgeous, fucking gorgeous every time. Beautiful and well thought out storyline. It's a little too tedious, a little too much exposition and detail. You know what I'm saying? A little too much. A little too much. And I feel the same way about Doom too. Yeah, get at me. I don't. Yo, this is the unpopular. What the fuck happened there? This is the unpopular opinion corner over here. We're not scared to have a different opinion than the status quo, whatever everyone else is saying. You know what I'm saying? You coming to me because you're gonna hear different perspective. You go to these other guys. I watch the other guys too. I'm not gonna name any names. I watch them, but a lot of it starts sounding the same. So I'll tell you straight up, Doom 2. I'll be struggling. I'll be wanting to like Doom. I should be struggling. I swear to God. When what is it? When the next one comes out that they're working on, I'll watch it in full in its full entirety of fucking three hours and fucking 40 minutes. I'll watch it in its entirety, and try to have as much patience as possible. You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure I have some extra THC drops is at the end of the day or some shit, so I can really lock in, but it's a little tedious. Super excited for that. Ooh, this is gonna be a good one. We're gonna get in depth with this one because I'm really passionate about this one. So I'm gonna do a separate video with a full review of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Right now, I personally think after watching this movie that Guillermo del Toro should be the Kevin Feige of the Universal Monster Universe. I'm saying I'm the pitch guy. I'm the idea guy. I'm the foresight. And you know who I think should help him? It would kind of be like Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers. Guillermo del Toro. I'm Latino. For some reason, I struggle saying Spanish words. Guillermo del Toro and Panos Cosmados. Something like that. I don't know. Panos Cosmados. You'll find it. He's the one that did Mandy. And he's the one that in the Cabinet of Curiosities, because he's cool with Guillermo del Toro, so that would make sense if they partner up to create the monster universe. Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, he had the best episode on there called The Viewing with Eric Andre, where they're like in a room and shit and they're getting high and all that shit.
Tonight I'm going to gift you innate transcendence at the greatest expense.
Yeah, episode 7. So Panos Cosmatos is one of my favorite filmmakers because his style is just like, oh my God. Like, and then he uses like, I think he uses the same person to score the music for his projects too, because it's always like eerie 1980s synth sci-fi soundtrack music, which I love that shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got the strings and the cinematics. Shout out John Williams. You know what I'm saying? Awesome. We could always go traditional, but I like the synthy. You know. So yeah, them two running the whole. We know they tried it with Tom Cruise's Mummy, and then went, yeah, right? And now they going back to the old Mummy with Brendan Fraser and all that shit. How many reboots of everything now these days? You know what I'm saying? We could always start again. And it's so easy because Frankenstein did well. We already got the first one. That's the fucking Iron Man. What that was to the MCU, that'd be the, you know what I'm saying, to the Universal horror universe. And then the next one, ooh, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Ooh, I want to see that one. Invisible Man, I'm kind of like, there's only so much you can do with that. Creature from the Black Lagoon, that would be crazy. Now, ooh, I love this one. Listen, I've been frustrated with Jim Carrey, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm torn with Jim Carrey.
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream.
There's just things happening. Shut it down now.
Because I'm on my path to enlightenment myself. I'm an occultist. I've done shroom rituals that changed my life. You know, I love it. You know, I'm on the path to enlightenment. That's a path that never ends, right? You know, I'm plugging from the Matrix. My music is about that a lot. You know, it's simulation. Yeah, I get it with a glitch. And he's an amazing painter too, Jim Carrey. You know, maybe it's the selfish moviegoer side of me that was mad that he said he retired, and then when he kept doing movies, the only movies he was doing was Sonic. That was getting me mad. I'm not gonna lie, that was getting me mad. The Sonic movies, not that bad. They could have been way better. I'm not gonna lie. They could have been way better. I'm gonna see the second one, but even seeing the trailers and seeing the first one, I don't like the way they're doing. I think they could have done a better job with the Sonic movies, as successful as they are. They're fun, but it just got me pissed off. You know, I'm just like, he's doing a great job as Eggman, as Dr. Robotnik. Great job. I love it. Amazing. But he could be doing so much more. So, with that being said, I'm excited that he's going to be George Jetson. And I'm gonna show y'all eventually. I got these jackets that I do for my clothing line, and there's a signature style I do with like shirts and jackets, and I call it the Jetsons rings. Now I'll show it on another episode, but I call it the Jetsons rings. You know, it's like these poofy. I make like futuristic clothing that I like to wear, you know, casually. So yeah, I'm very inspired by the Jetsons. I love the Jetsons. Growing up, you know, obviously I was ahead of my time. I was born in '89, but I watched a lot of old stuff, from Lost in Space to I Love Lucy, the reruns, you know, and Flintstones and the Jetsons. Hanna-Barbera, man. Hanna-Barbera. He got a long list. Dastardly and Muttley, all that shit. Yeah. So I'm excited. Now, what it's going to look like, I'm so curious. I definitely retro future. Everybody's saying Fantastic Four. I love the retro futurism. I think fashion is eventually going to go retro future, but I think that's not going to happen for another like 5 to 10 years. I think that's what's going to happen. Like, we got to actually get futuristic first, and then maybe we'll go retro future. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, this is not what I thought 2025 was going to look like.
The Masturbation Network, keeping America baiting for 300 years.
Oh yeah, give me some. Cut me a piece. Oh, you just go away.
I thought it was gonna look like Fifth Element. This shit looks very far away from Fifth Element. This shit could easily look like 2008. If you time travel from 2008 to 2025, you might not notice that big of a difference. Let's keep it above, right? But with that being said, Jim Carrey, man, if he's out of retirement like this to do such a big role, and think about it, Hollywood in this day and age is the land of sequels, especially with franchises. If the franchise hits through the roof, you know they're gonna do a trilogy, and maybe even push it further if they can, right? So he's obviously out of retirement, even though he never actually retired. He pulled like a Jay-Z move with the Black Album, right? Tell you a movie I wanted to see him do. The Terrence McKenna biopic. Come on, man. Think about it. He talks nothing like Terrence McKenna, right? But he could easily look like him. And there was rumors that he was about to do it for a while. There was rumors he's about to do it. And when I heard those rumors, that idea stayed embedded in my brain for the rest of eternity. And I couldn't get it out. Because this is how I saw it. I said, it'd be giving him a great chance to show his range, for him to talk like Terrence McKenna. This would be Andy Kaufman, the Man on the Moon. That was excellent. And he channeled that so much that it was almost like a possession that he had to exercise afterwards. So he's that badass with the method acting. So it would be like that, where like he's completely not playing himself. Because Jim Carrey's a guy like Jack Black, like Adam Sandler, like they could easily get caught just playing themselves in every movie, right? But that would be so totally like for him. I could picture him talking like Terrence McKenna in that weird flat tone. And this would be the most amazing part of a Terrence McKenna movie with Jim Carrey. The level of CGI. I would put majority of the movie budget towards the CGI. Because Terrence McKenna, anybody that knows Terrence McKenna and has listened to his lectures, he's had so many elaborate descriptions of his intense acid and DMT and mushroom trips. And he said he used to do these trips in a completely black room so that he would teleport consciously into these alternate universes. So imagine like the camera just showing a dark room and all you see is the light coming through the door. And you could see the silhouette of Jim Carrey walk in and you see him close the door behind him. And then all of a sudden you just see these lights like glow, like everything glows. And then that's when the soundtrack. Oh shit! I'm a filmmaker, man. CGI? Time machine elves? I want to see time machine elves. That would be fucking amazing. That would be mind blowing. That would be like the modern day version of Space Odyssey 2001. That'd be the 2027, 28 version of that, whenever it comes out. 2029, 2028. We got to do that. Let's keep that one floating in the ethers. You know what I'm saying? Come on. We need to do that. Get the channel bigger, like, subscribe, all that good shit. That way more people see it, and then the Hollywood people see it, and they'll steal my ideas for free. And I'll find them later. Oh, and then let's end it off with this. The Gremlins Part 3. I hear everyone talk about it. Gremlins Part 3. I know John Campea was up in the air. It could be good. It might not be good. A lot of people are kind of like, on the fence about it. I think it could be amazing. I think the new technique they've been doing a lot lately, where they're doing like a mix of practical and CGI, like what they did with the Thing in the recent Fantastic Four movie, how he had the actual suit, and then they put CGI on top of it. I think if they do something like that, because they actually saw recently they did that with Stitch too. In Lilo and Stitch, it was so cute to see a little girl hugging it was a doll, a very lifelike, realistic looking furry doll, and then they put CGI over it. And I was like, that's why the CGI for Stitch looked really good. And that's a type of CGI, the way he moves and being next to this little girl, that could have went wrong. So get Jim Henson's company back in, get him to do the animatronic Mogwais and the animatronic Gremlins, and then put the little CGI over it. That shit's gonna look amazing. storyline. I always like to, travel around my imagination and see what I'm thinking of is always, it's always like a corporate thing. I think part two was a little bit of a corporate thing too. But I could see that too, everybody's like anti-corporate now, so especially in movies. So we could go there, it could be like a corporation that's trying to use them to create an exclusive zoo, like a freak show slash zoo with these creatures, and then it backfires, and the Mogwais save the day. For a corporation to try to sell them as like pets and shit like that, that's too dangerous. That's not realistic. They're not gonna do that. But like to have them as like a freak show slash zoo, like in a modern version, I could see them trying to do that, and then it backfires. I love that movie. And part two wasn't all that, but I still love part two. I remember when Gizmo was in the office, and he was like Rambo with the headband. That's the main thing I remember about part two. And he had the paper clip. He bent the paper clip and had the rubber band and made a little bow and arrow with it. I remember that. And I remember I tried to make it out of actual paper clip and rubber band afterwards. It's classic, especially for the 80s and the early 90s babies. A lot of nostalgia vibes. To this day, Chinatown, when I go to Chinatown, and I see the old storefronts, the old Chinese bodegas that be selling roots and herbs and all of that, I'd be like, yo, how cool would that be? It's going to sound racist, but this is more admiration than anything. It's admiration. How cool would that be if they had some real life Pokemon back there and only exclusive people could buy them, or some real life creatures like Mogwais? Nobody knows, some exotic shit. I always thought that, you know what I'm saying? So like, hey, we got to bring it back to New York, especially Chinatown. I would film majority of that movie in Chinatown. Chinatown has a very special quality to it. It still looks like old New York, a lot of it. They've kept a lot of the old school looking awnings and storefronts. That's a good place to do it. I would do majority of it in Chinatown. It would be funny if they get Jordan Peele involved too, because if you've seen the skit, he's like, yeah, we'll have the fat one, we'll have the bald one.
What about a bat gremlin?
You mean a gremlin with leathery wings just flying around, flip-flopping, bust through a wall, make a perfect bat symbol in the wall, get outside, get in some wet concrete, jump up on a building and just dry in place like a gargoyle gremlin? We are cooking with gas now. I love it. It's in the movie next.
We got to get that character, the Jordan Peele character from that skit, in the movie at some point. He's trying to pitch ideas to the corporation that wants to use the Mogwais. So with that being said, this is Reclues Vision. My name is Zeph Solis. There's going to be a lot more. Like I said, I'm doing a review of Begonia. I'm going to do a review of Frankenstein. A lot more. We're going to keep up to date. We're going to have fun together, I want to connect with people. So please do. This is going to be real fun and interesting. And yeah, you already know. Till next time.